Hi, team, and welcome to our next vodcast. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the New Deal, which is FDR's policies on how he's going to end this Great Depression, put people back to work, and make sure that we are making great progress in our community in the United States. So he said this is all about repairing the American spirit. We need to make sure that Americans feel like they are valuable as human beings, that they have self-worth. And FDR's one of his most famous advisors, Harry Hopkins, said, if you give a man a handout and you save his body and destroy his spirit, give him a job and pay him an assured wage, and you save both the body and the spirit. It is so important, not only to FDR and his advisors, but to the American public, that they feel like they are valued, right? That they have self-worth. They do not want handouts from the government. The average American wants to go to work. They want to do something. They want to make something of themselves, and they want to earn their wages. They do not want to just accept money from the government. So the way that FDR is going to help Americans do this is he's going to do something known as the New Deal. We often refer to the New Deal as alphabet soup because there are going to be a lot of acronyms for all the different types of programs that are going to be, I guess, a little bit overwhelming when you look at them all at once. But the New Deal is often referred to as alphabet soup, and here is why. As you can see, the AAA, CWA, CCC, PWA, TVA, all these fun programs and really helpful programs that are now all going to be implemented under the New Deal. So let's start looking at a few of them. So the AAA, the Agricultural Adjustment Act, starts paying farmers to leave land fallow. That means that they're paying farmers to leave their land alone, to let it replenish, to let it be without crops. Do not plow them. And they're saying too that not to raise animals, but rather to slaughter animals, because they wanted to provide farmers educational classes. The goal was to help change the prices, to cut back on the surplus of goods, right? This kind of overpopulation of things that have been grown, number of animals that people didn't want to consume or couldn't consume. There's just too much product. They also wanted to give the land time to replenish. So we're paying farmers to just improve their land and to start to rebound after the pushback now of World War I, where you're no longer needed in the same capacity. Then we have the CWA. This is going to start building schools, paying teachers, creating jobs for unskilled workers. It doesn't really have a lot of long-term stability because it has its short-term goals, but it's about educating people, starting to work on some more like public works kind of programs. Then you have the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps. That's going to target young men ages 18 to 21 to do forestry, flood work, build bridges, campgrounds, trails, museums, national parks. You're actually going to have over 3 million men participate in this. They'll earn about $25 a week. They'll send that money home, or the U.S. government will send it for them. They advertise for the CCC to young men because they most likely don't have children. They're most likely not in school, and that they're able to just kind of leave their homes without having to leave a family behind to go and work wherever it was necessary. So that's why the CCC is targeted towards very young people. The PWA is the Public Works Administration, and the PWA is going to build roads as well, like the Lincoln Tunnel, LaGuardia Airport, overseas highways to the Florida Keys, San Francisco. It's going to be the Oakland Bay Bridge. So working on things to improve our country, to allow more people to travel. And the last thing is the TVA. Well, last thing for this slide. Put people back to work. The TVA. It built hydroelectric dams in Tennessee Valley, provided navigation, electricity, fertilizer, and economic development. So these were all programs that helped put people back to work. The next slides were also things that provided people direct relief. So FERA, Federal Emergency Relief Agency, it gave $500 million to direct unemployment relief. So if you were somebody who didn't have a job and you couldn't pay your mortgage, let's say, you could file with FERA and they would give you some money so that you could use it to keep your home. Or to have enough food to keep, or enough money to keep your electric on, so your electric wouldn't be shut off. So the money was given directly to the states to be distributed, and that's going to actually emphasize also the education for adults about labor. They want to make sure that all adults are learning, how do I get a new job? How do I keep a new job? What kind of laborer do I want to be? FERA is going to be supporting workers in all those things. Then you're going to have the WPA, which is the Works Progress Administration. The WPA is actually going to be replace after the Depression. It's going to focus while we're in the Depression on getting people back to work. They're going to provide 8.5 million jobs. It's going to be revived during the second administration of FDR in the New Deal, and it's going to start to include the arts. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the WPA when we get to the second administration. The goal here now is to restore trust in banking and stocks with the FDIC and the SEC. So the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, when you hear commercials about banks today, you hear things like they're FDIC insured. The goal is that under the Federal Securities Act of 1933, it's going to become the SEC. It's going to require businesses to provide information to stockholders, give people an update. How are the businesses doing? What is the worth of their stocks? It shouldn't be a guessing game. Everything should be open, public, and accessible to the people. The FDIC is going to have a different expectation. They're going to be focusing more on insuring banks for savings up to $5,000 at that time period. Today, it's like $250,000 that's insured. But it required banks to separate consumer parts from investments. It meant that we couldn't have all people's money be sent out into loans so that there wasn't anything actually sitting in the bank in case people came to collect their savings. I'm trying to think the other thing. The SEC actually played a role in the arrest and the jail time for Martha Stewart. The SEC is going to prevent insider trading, and that's what Martha Stewart got arrested for and why she spent some time in jail. Another aspect of the New Deal is going to be about providing relief. So how do we help people? How do we gather more tax money without burdening Americans? So the Social Security Act, or the SSA, is based partly on progressive ideas. It's known originally as an old age pension for widows, orphans, people with benefits who are unemployed. It's supposed to aid dependent children, healthcare provisions, and it actually is going to be accessible to 26 million eligible people who are going to need to collect some kind of money based on their age. And it's going to start requiring younger people to start putting a part of their paycheck into Social Security. So as you start getting jobs, you'll notice that some of the money that's taken out for tax reasons will go towards Social Security, so that when you retire, you will have access to a pension. You'll receive a little bit of money from the government. So that begins now with Social Security. The next one is the Beer and Wine Revenue Act, which is going to become the 21st Amendment. We've mentioned a few times that the government needs tax money. We're realizing people are doing this illegally with bootlegging. Why wouldn't the government now legalize this again and start collecting tax money because of it? If people are going to drink, the government might as well collect some taxes on it as well. Okay, so that's alphabet soup. That's a lot of letters, a lot of information. We're going to do an activity in class to kind of help you break that down. But if you could have the basics of this information for that activity, that would be super helpful. Okay, let me know if you have questions. We're going to stop here, and I hope you have a great night.